Let's practice solving unit rates. Use a double number line and solve the problem. April wants to make a fleece blanket to cheer up her friend. 1 yard of material costs $3.90. If April wants to purchase 3.5 yards of fleece to make the blanket, what is the total cost? Okay, so sometimes when you're solving ratios and rates, making a table is super helpful. And one of those ways is to use a double number line. So that's what we're going to do. Double number line is simply one number line on top of another number line. So I'm going to start right there. Okay, so my first starting point is going to be for April, it's $3.90 for every yard of fabric. So I need to make sure that I keep, again, my units separate from one another. So I've got my cost and I also have yards. So we know that 1 yard is $3.90. So if I was going to make this into a table, I would just switch it and I would do this vertically. So if I'm going to find for 3.5 yards, well, the first thing I can do is go from 1 to 2 if I want to, or I can just go from 1 to 3. So I can get all the way to 3 yards through a simple multiplication of 3. So I'm also going to multiply $3.90 times 3. This is where those of you who don't like to show your work, you need to show your work. So I have $3.90 times 3. Which is $11.70. So for 3 yards, I have $11.70. I know that I could go all the way to 4, but I need just another half of a yard. So this is where understanding how to use math in a mental way, right? Mental mathematics is super important. I'm not necessarily going to go right to 3.5. I'm actually going to go back to a full yard, which is here, which is $3.90. And I'm going to find half of that. Because in a fabric store, you don't have to buy full yards of fabric. You can buy pieces, smaller segments of it. So I'm going to find half of $3.90. $3.90 divided by 2, right? Or half of that. Is $1.95. So if I really wanted to, I could go all the way back here. I'll erase my labels. I probably should have left myself more room, but that's okay. Money and yards can go here. I can go all the way back to a half of a yard, 0.5, or 1/2. Same thing, different way of writing it, which then we said is $1.95. So $1.95 is a half of a yard. Well, if I know that 3 yards gets here and a half of a yard is this much, then all I'm going to do is simply take this amount and I'm going to add it to this amount. So $11.70 plus $1.95 is $13.65 for 3.5 or 3.5 yards. So she's going to need, for 3.5 yards, $13.65. A great visual way to be able to show what you know using a double number line similar to a ratio table, just flipped horizontally instead of vertically. Use a tape diagram to model and solve the problem. At Pruitt's farm, the ratio of oranges to apples is 4 to 8. A total of 36 apples and oranges are grown on his farm. Find the number of oranges grown. Okay, so we're going to be using a tape diagram. Keep in mind with tape diagrams, you don't want to be using them if you have large numbers because you're really going to have to be showing using boxes. And if you have a large number set that you're working with, this is not going to be a helpful strategy. So this question is okay because it doesn't require me to draw a lot. And this is also a good skill if you really are having a hard time with ratio tables and double number lines. So if you are, use a tape diagram, and that's okay. This is just a great way to visually get you started. So I know that I have 4 oranges for every 8 apples. So I'm going to write that down. 4 oranges per 8 apples. Okay, knowing that, I have to say to myself, okay, well, that means I have how many pieces of fruit? Well, 4 plus 8 is 12. So I'm going to say over here, 12 pieces of fruit. That's important because the question says that I've got 36 apples and oranges. Well, in order to figure out this ratio, I've got to know this as well. So I'm going to start by showing 4 oranges. Remember, if I'm making it into fourths, I need 3 lines. And I'm using purple, so I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 of those. And then I have 8 apples. Actually, for space, I think I'm going to move this up here. Well, there's going to be 4 apples. So that means I've got to have another set here. So I have 8 apples. In doing this, I'm representing 4 oranges and 8 apples. Now, that means that I should have 12 pieces. We said 4 plus 8 is 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so there's my first set for my tape diagram. Well, I need 36 apples and oranges. So I'm going to do another set of oranges and apples. So I'm going to have another 4. And another 8. Orange, 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 orange. Apple, 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 apple. And then one more set. Let's see if I can do it down here. I'll move my markers out of the way. One set of 4. And another set of 8. Orange, 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 orange. Apple, 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 apple. So I know that I had 12 pieces of fruit here, and I also had 12 pieces of fruit here, and I also had 12 pieces of fruit here. So 12 times 3, or 3 groups of 12, is 36. And that's what I wanted. I wanted 36 apples and oranges all together. So now what I have to do is look at the question. The question says to find the number of oranges. So it doesn't really matter if I can find the number of apples, other than the fact that I need to in order to find the number of oranges. But my answer is just going to be related to oranges. So that's what I'm going to count. I have 4 oranges here. I have 4 oranges here. And I have 4 oranges here. I can also say that I have 3 groups of 4. And 3 groups of 4 is 12. So my answer should be 12 oranges. So this is just another way of showing how to solve a problem in a visual way using ratios in order to come to a conclusion. So on your own, make sure that when you're trying to solve for ratios and rates that you're looking at ratio tables, double number lines, and tape diagrams. All of those are going to help you in the process of solving and finding for rates and ratios.